Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thanks so much for being here today for the ambassador training. Again, my name is Kelly Jan, and I'm an Emerald Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide. And today is a really special day for me because I've asked my dad and my stepmom to help me with today's training. And I always said that my dad could write a sales book. And so all through school and anytime, hey guys, the training has started, okay? All right. So my dad, I always call him when I have questions about sales or when I'm thinking about whether I should take a job or when I'm nervous about, you know, should I make this move? Should I do these things? I always call him up. And so I'll give you a little bit of their background, both of them. I'll start with Betsy. Betsy, so my parents got divorced and remarried when I was in the 4th grade. And so right at 10 years old. And so my stepmom and my dad and my stepdad have been in my life since I was young. And so we've all grown up together. Betsy has 2 boys. Mike has 2 boys. We never could quite figure out why we didn't spend the night at the other houses and all these things because we all were just growing up together and we loved it. And I love that my whole family, everybody gets along. And we can all now build Plexus together, which is super cool. And so I want to introduce Betsy first. So Betsy, we were talking this morning when they were at the house, you know, from 11 years old, started, you know, babysitting and, you know, earning her own money. And when it was time for her to go to college, there wasn't, you know, a fund. There was no, what's the 544 plan where you're, you know, you got money ready. And so she worked at a restaurant called the Velvet Cloak in Raleigh and went to NC State. And I remember her telling me that when she got out of college, that she took her pay got cut in half when she got like her real job. And so chasing after that piece of paper, you know, we're all told go to school, get a degree, and you'll be set for life. You know, get a good job, and they'll take care of you. And so Betsy actually became the very first outside claims adjuster for Aetna, and I worked for them for several years. And then through her love of boating and also her love for my dad, they together, what was that? Together started a company called C-Tech in Wilmington, North Carolina. And Betsy served as the president of C-Tech for 10 years and then was sold to a publicly traded company out of the Boston area. Yep. And then worked for them as their CEO for the particular division for 3 years before she was able to retire. And now she and my dad are doing some traveling, and they've started actually an international art destination in Wilmington, North Carolina. And so I'm super proud to have her share a little bit with you guys today about some of the differences between owning a company like C-Tech and a network marketing business, and what some of the draw is, and her sort of background in business, and why she was attracted to network marketing as a whole, and why they want to support me and also give you some of their knowledge today too. So thanks, Betsy.
Thank you. First thing I want to say is my real claim to fame is I introduced Kelly to Melissa.
That's right.
So I love that because I said to Melissa was trying to get me to do it. And she said, oh, Betsy, you and Jim, you'd be so good, because she knows Jim's such a good salesperson. And I said, you know, we are not interested in doing it. We're building this art village in Wilmington right now. And but let me introduce you to Kelly, because she knew Kelly. We have cousins camp where all our grandchildren come and visit. So her daughters actually would come over to cousins camp. Some each went summer too. So, and like Kelly's told you, she wasn't interested at all. But anyway, so I'm here just kind of as an encourager, not sales training, because I was never a salesperson, but I was an employee on the corporate level. And when you're an employee, you know, people talk about network marketing as being a pyramid. But really, if you look at GM or Ford or Merck, the person on top, you can never get to be that person. I was very successful in the business that I was in, as far as I got to go to training classes and became a supervisor and things like that, but I was never going to be that CEO. And so when Jim and I started C-Tech, then I got the feeling of what it felt like to be in charge. And I tried to treat all my employees the way that I would have wanted to be treated. But still, they were still employees. They still had a job that they started at, and we tried to do training. But the difference is when you go to network marketing, it's so much more team-oriented. And you can come from any walk of life, any kind of background, and still succeed just as high as the next person. And what I love about it is the fact that there's consistent leadership training, consistent. They are always encouraging you to learn more, be more, and just give to the community. Well, the one thing that I want to say as far as us, because I'm going to be brief, but that Plexus itself, since I'm not, I mean, technically I'm under Jim. He's the ambassador, and I'm just under him as far as taking the product. Well, I just want to tell you, as far as from my age, I'm 67 and a half, about to be 68, well, in a few months. But anyway, we have friends that, so Jim and I right now, we have this international village. He works only half days, 12 hours a day. I've been working 6 days a week in this endeavor, in addition to the fact that I still volunteer at church. I'm still involved with some community activities. And our friends who aren't doing anything, they're just retired, they're going to bed at 9 o'clock. They don't go out. I mean, we're still up at 11 o'clock, and we're out seeing friends and being able to drive. We got up at 5:30 this morning, drove here because it's Caroline's birthday, and we were going to do this. And we're going, when this is over, we're driving back to Wilmington. We drove 4 hours here at 3.5, 4 hours back home tonight, because there's an art show going on, and we have to be back, and we want to be back. And because of Plexus, I feel like we've got the energy. I mean, it's really affected our lives positively. And Jim probably is going to do more of the sales, but I'll just say with him, he's on medication for type 2 diabetes, and his A1C was 7.7, which 5.7 is the top high. And he wasn't even taking Plexus. I was the one taking it. So then consistently for 3 months, I guess I'm thinking you started in November, December,
Yes.
something like that, December. And when he went back for his 3 months checkup, his A1C had dropped a whole point to 6.7. And he's continuing. He's lost 20-something, 30 pounds or whatever too. But anyway, thank you for the opportunity. I did make a couple notes. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to say that had to do anything. No, that's it.
So my dad, I grew up listening to my dad say things like, let me show you a trick I learned when I was in the Navy. Well, my dad wasn't in the Navy, but I didn't actually know that until I was older, because he would say that all the time. And he always just had a way of showing you how to do something maybe a little bit different to be maybe more efficient. And he worked for companies. I mean, even when he was a little boy, I would pick up soda cans and turn them in for money to be able to make extra money. And when he talks about that he's got he'll talk to you about his schooling, but he's been to different business trainings all over the world, but he's been in international sales for many, many years. But I did watch my dad. We would drop him off at the airport on Sunday night, and he would come home on Friday night. He had sales teams that he managed all over the United States and internationally. He helped companies go from manufacturing a product in their basement to being $1 million company. And so my dad, he's made lots of money in his life, and he knows a lot of things, but not always a lot of it, though, to the expense of not being able to be with his family, and for us growing up. Now, I didn't have to work when I was in college because my dad was able to provide that for me. My sister as well. So there were a lot of things. We went on nice vacations, and we had a lot of things because of the fact that he did work. But I think about how now, through the things that he's been able to teach me my whole life, And what he's now being able to do today to help you guys hopefully as well is to be able to have that same type of lifestyle with Plexus and not have to be gone all the time from your family. And so I do want him to share a little bit. And to me, I love my dad because he, over the past even 10 years, has really transformed as he's aged. I think he's mellowed out a little bit. I remember my dad being on his bag phone in the car on the way to the airport. I mean, and just blessing out the sales guys that work for him. I mean, I learned lots of words when I was little.
Easy to write, they're all 4 letters.
And so I've watched him now turn into being able to take that knowledge, take that wisdom, and help other people to be able to start businesses and become successful and be more, which you're not really going to find that in corporate America. You know, Betsy talked about that. You know, she always wanted to help her employees to be more and do more and learn more. But at the end of the day, they were still an employee, and they weren't going to have Betsy's job as the CEO either. And, you know, she could say, you have to be at this training because that's part of your job and we're paying you to be here. Well, I'm not paying anybody to be here, but you're here because you want to learn and you want to grow. And whatever your why is for Plexus or in your life, I'm glad that you're here. And so I know that you'll take some big ahas away from today. And so with that, I'm going to hand it over to my dad, Jim Knowles.
All right. You have to bear with me, Betsy will let you know I have no filter. But I will talk appropriately because there's somebody in here under 60, so maybe I can kind of hear some of the words. I was the guy that would go down to the beach here not too long ago and couldn't lay down on the beach because they tried to push me back in the water. And the reason they put milk in gallon jugs is that's how much it takes to eat a bag of donuts. And that's me, but I've kind of stopped doing that a little bit and started taking this Plexus, and I'll just say a little bit about the product. And it's nothing for me to work 20 hours at a time or 24 hours, even 30 hours. I mean, I just always done that and kept 2 or 3 jobs. And the thing about a job, I just get right into a job. What that really stands for is jump out of bed. That's what everybody in here does. They jump out of bed. But what they do is they buy others joy. And we may have retired, but we haven't quit. There's a difference. You know, when you retire, you'd like to quit, but I can tell you 9 out of 10 people that retire can't quit. And so they end up having to take a second job or a third job. And you see old people like me at the Walmart handing you a cart. They don't want to be there. They like to be home with their families or doing what they do. And hopefully I'm going to give you some things that you can pick up a lot. 90% of what I tell you already know, maybe 99%. Because it's simple. It's so simple it's not easy. But you're probably not paying attention to yourself. You're lying to the man in the mirror. You know, you'll go to people I know and there's it's called a fear of flying. You know, I can't do this. I'm not a salesperson. That's a lie. It's like the myth about artists. I'm an artist. And you've heard the term starving artist. That's a lie. You'll never make enough to starve. You just won't. So what's more important than anything you do is why are you doing it? Not what are you doing. You can do anything. You can do this. You can do Amway. You can do prepaid legals. Maybe somebody's talking to you about that. There's Metaluca. There's Shackley products. All kinds of things in multi-level marketing. But there's all kinds of jobs too. And a lot of people will get a wad of cash. And all they do is get dangerous because what they've got now is knowledge and no wisdom. See, knowledge is cheap. You can read it. You can listen to me. You can listen to your buddy. You can see it on television. But wisdom is the expense. And only comes at the expense of experience. And that's how to use the knowledge. Many people will get their inheritance from their family. They'll go out and buy a restaurant because they always want to be in the restaurant. Maybe they can cook a great hot dog. And within 3 years, they're broke. They've just gone through it. Because they forgot why they were doing it. You know, and why are you in this room today? I mean, you don't have to be here for the same thing. Some people want to be here because they want to help people. Some people want to be here because they want to help themselves. Some people are here because they're sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired. And they know they're not going to be the president of the company they work for. Let me tell you, if you work for a person, they'll only pay you just enough and no more, no matter what the minimum wage is, to get you to do what they want you to do. Just the same way you treat your dogs and you love them. You throw the ball, so they'll bring it back to you. You don't throw it. Well, some people do it for exercise, but most of us have pets. We do things so that they'll make us happy. We don't do it to make them happy. And a lot of times we run off and leave them because we're tired of them sometimes. And generally, so that's the why, okay? I would hope that you're here because the thing about plexus, okay, you can be, there's health, okay, there's physical health, that's, you know, me losing the weight, and then there's financial health, and that's, you know, making dollars. But these two together really create what you really want out of life. It's mental health. I want to be happy. I'm tired of working to broke. I'm tired of getting to the end of the month and I still got more bills and more month than I got money. And so I go in and ask for a raise, and they give you a raise, however much it is an hour, because maybe you're a great employee. They don't lose you. But there's still, all you are now is a tenant farmer, an indentured servant. You still can't retire. If every one of you, if you added up all the money you got per year, and I were to write you a check right now for 5 years of your salary, just give it to you and give you an easy out the door, how many of you could survive to the rest of your life? Not a one. And in today's world, it's not like when I was. You don't go to work for a company and retire and you get a retirement. And I'm a prime example of it. Kelly was talking about companies I used to take from zero to multi-million dollars. And I did this for one company. I even owned 10% of the company. In less than 5 minutes, I got an interview. Now, I came home, and you tell your wife you quit, or you tell your friends you got downsized. Bottom line, you got fired because you're out of work, period. You're just out. And they don't care. You're just gone. And when that happened to me, I got retired. I didn't retire. I was 47 years old. Now, where are you going to go at 47 without a college piece of paper and get a job making $200,000 a year? Down here at the NCNB, and then you get free room and board. The sex isn't cool, but you get free room and board the rest of your life. That's not what I wanted out of life. So I just started my own company because I finally figured out the only reason I wasn't successful is because I wasn't successful. I can't blame there's only one reason in the world to do the right thing. And it's because it's the right thing to do. Anything else is an excuse. An excuse is nothing more than a skin of a lie stuff for the reason. And some people lie to the man in the mirror. I can't sell. I can't do this plexus thing. I want to take it. I want to get healthy physically. I'd like to do this, but you don't want it, because I'll guarantee you every one of these people in the world always do what they want to do. But they'll talk about what they like to do. How many people have you seen on the television standing in the trailer park with a beer in this hand and a cigarette in this hand and saying, hey, man, I wish I could buy my kids some tennis shoes.
Okay.
Put the beer down. Put the cigarette down. You've got it in you, but you got to redirect it. You've got to have a vision. And it's whatever your vision is. Well, a priest is a good thing. That's a vision. They know they're going to be a pauper, but they commit to be a pauper. They've got a vision. But in the vision, they created dreams. The priest, I want to be the Pope, or I want to have a big church, or I want to save a lot of people, which is good. Because it really is God first, family second, business third. And another nugget here is you'll never, ever have anything in your life you first want to give. And nothing is worth having unless it's worth sharing. See, that's why plexus is so good. Kelly shares with you what she knows. And if you decide not to do it, it doesn't make a difference to her. She's got Alexis. She's going to Hawaii. As a matter of fact, I'm going to help her, and she's taking me and my wife, the rest of the family, to Hawaii too. She's going to go as not a diamond. It was a tiara. See, that's the dream. But a dream without a plan, you know what that is? That's a nightmare. And I mean it's a nightmare. Because you go to bed saying, I wish I coulda, woulda, shoulda. And let me tell you how easy it is to sell. Let's just say this is plexus. This is how you do it. Now, you've got the information with it, right? Now, she'll read it. If she's got this, she'll create this. She'll call me, and I'll say, and she'll call her, and I'll stand over here like this and walk all the way to the bank because the money sack is hurting my back. That's all you got to do. That's literally all you got to do. You got to show up. Everybody in the world has what I call a hit rate. Every salesman. A blind hog can find an acorn if you'll walk around the pen. If you will go talk to somebody or do nothing, just do what I said and hand them one of those plexus things. Now, that's a poor hit rate. About 1 in 1,000 is going to read it. The rest of them will throw it in the trash. But if you just use some simian intelligence to get started, and you do that, pretty soon you'll be silver. I think silver's pretty easy to get, right? I mean, I don't know. I'm in it. I'm getting checks, and I don't even care about it. I'm just taking the product. But I looked on my internet and said, you got to do something because we want to send you some money. I might get back into it in the selling part of it because I can sell anything anybody. I guarantee it. Because I was willing to pick up that can that was probably worth 2 cents and walk from here to wherever to get some money. And when I got a little bit more money by walking every day, then I could buy a bicycle. Well, then I could deliver papers. Well, then I could buy a car. Well, then I could get a real job. And then I could work the broke too. And it took me a while to figure it out. I was afraid. I had no self-esteem. I was selling. I was helping all these companies. I was doing all this great thing. But I was afraid that, you know, if I make this money, they'll take away my welfare. If I make this money, gee, I'm not worthy of the money. I don't have a college education. I don't deserve that. If I go out here, I better not get too cocky because they'll take this job and, man, they're paying my insurance and they give me a 401k plan and they give me a paid vacation and they give me a brand new car to drive. I don't want to lose all that. Well, why are they giving me that? Why are they giving me, say, just use a 100? See, that's the 100 mark. Why are they giving me 100? Because I'm capable of making 1,000. And they're taking 900. And they understand what God says. You got to tithe. Give Jim 10%. Treat him like a mushroom. Keep him in the dark. Keep pooping on him. He'll keep working. But see, as a salesman, too, you know, you are who you are, too. You can't give that up. And a salesman and an artist, do I have an ego? Well, yeah, that's why I've got a wheelbarrow with two wheels on the front. That's how big mine is. Rolling around. I mean, I love it. But bottom line is, it goes back again to your health plan. Your health plan is nothing without the joy, without the love, without the care, that's what you're doing it for. And that's the why. If you just want to make lots of money, you can go rob a bank. Get free room and board and still got it. Don't tell them where you put the money. Wait for World War III. We're going to let out all the crazies and lock up everybody else. You see, you'll be the richest persons in the world. But you'll be poor in spirit. But when you have the money and you have the love and you have the attitude, then you become H&R. Now you're hog nasty rich. See, I'm already rich. I mean rich beyond all means. And you are too. You don't know it. You haven't discovered it yet. because I have a wife that loves me, or claims she does. I've got children that are not in jail. I obviously get enough to eat. I can get in and out of the rain. I have a place to lay my head at night. Everything else is extra. Now, if you have kids, that's different. You know, you want them, or you have a husband or mate. But really, everything else is extra. You're going to put more chrome on your trailer hitch to carry a bigger hearse. Is that what you're going to do? So again, if you make the money, what are you going to do with it? Well, Jim, let's make some first before we get there. All right? I want to make some. So that's what I see the Plex is doing. And like I said, I've been around long enough to speak with some authority, so to speak. I'm not talking about theory. I'm talking about the expensive experience. And that's what I'm sharing with you. Show up, listen to somebody, and watch what they do, because God does this for you. He gave you 2 of those and 2 of these and 1 of these. You don't have to use this, just use this and this. Here's a tidbit. Read 30 minutes every day. And don't read the newspaper. I tell people, I don't read the news, man, I make the news. Read a self-help book. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Think and Grow Rich. All those little dinky books that you can, if you're a reader, you can blast out in 5, 10 days. Every single day you read, because what you're starting to do now, you're starting to invest instead of spend. You know, when you spend, it's like saving money. I go to the Walmart to save money. We also go because we can't afford to go to Belk's all the time or whatever, but don't ever go to Walmart really to save money. You go there because you have to, because you do what you can with what you've got when you've got to do it. And if you really think you're saving money, every one of you reach in your pocketbook now or pocket and pull out every dime you saved last week going to Walmart. You didn't save it. You spend it on something else. Well, go to Walmart and get a loaf of bread for $3 instead of a fancy store for $10. You don't want to be ostentatious and be silly. But that $2 you save, go buy a book. Or go online. They're free, I guess. Or go to Kindle or whatever. That's what you do. And instead of watching the boxing tonight or the worldwide world of wrestling or going fishing or playing golf, sit down and read that book. Because what that book's going to do is going to put money in your pocket. That golf or that fishing trip or whatever, that can be late. When you get my age, then you can do it because you got plenty of money to do it with. You can afford to do it. When you're your age, you can't afford to do it because you're spending instead of investing. The opportunity with Plexus right now is great because in the multi-level marketing area, it's real new relative to the number of people that are available. Now, all multi-level marketing, all products like Coca-Cola, they get saturated to an extent, and to get involved with them, if you want to compete with Coca-Cola now or make another energy drink, you better have buku money to get started. But with Plexus, you can get started with almost next to nothing, and that's another tip. Nothing's for nothing. And it's never all you have to do is. That's what Custer said. No problem. All you have to do is. No problem. They're just Indians. All you have to go is go down there and kick their butts. So you don't lie to yourself. You don't get all excited at a meeting like this and go out and say, I'm going to conquer the world, and in 2 days, you've got everything you started with. Just take what you got inside and build on that. And it doesn't make any difference if Kelly gets to go diamond or whatever your level is in 6 weeks and it takes you 6 years. Because the key is, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. As long as you're crawling in a forward direction, you are investing. And invest in yourself. You want to invest in your assets, or you want to invest in somebody else's assets? You know where your assets are? Right there. That's where yours is. Mine was right there. That's what I'm investing. I'm investing in me, in my assets. Because then I become valuable. And as I become valuable, I'm valuable to my wife. I'm valuable to you. I'm valuable to my kids. Because along this journey, I'm learning a little bit about myself. I'm improving myself. And now I don't go, ugh. Now I go, have you ever seen plexus before? I just improved my hit rate 50%. Or I show up and I say something to somebody and I look like Timba. And I see him again 6, 8, 9, 10 weeks from now. Say, you remember we have in plexus? I said, no. But I saw you and your brother in the same pair of pants. No, I'm the guy that talked to you about plexus. Oh, really? Kind of like you did with Kelly. It was almost a miracle they put you back together again. But you did, and you are. And the people that have experienced it have experienced what they've experienced. Never, ever overstate. If anything, understate a little bit. Under promise and over deliver. But the person that you want to do that to is you. You know, you be the best you can be. Don't worry about me. See, when you're worried about somebody that's not willing to worry about themselves, you're being sympathetic to them. If somebody comes up on the street and says, hey, you got any spare change? And you give that person some spare change, and they're not willing to do anything but go get a bottle of liquor or whatever they do. And there's somebody over here that's trying to go to college, and you know them. And you give that dollar that you have to them. Now you've stolen from this people over here, and you've enabled this person to keep doing what they're doing. You're not investing again. You're spending. And you make the world a better place by making you a better person. So, well, how do I do that? Well, it doesn't come overnight. You don't screw your head off and pour it in. It comes back on. All of a sudden, you know it. You do it by listening to your upline. Find you a mentor. And it doesn't have to be in plexus. It's a successful business person that you perceive to be successful. And you let them know that's what you're doing. I want to hang around you. I want to get some nuggets from you. I want you to rub off on me. No, I don't want to pay you for it. No, you don't have to do it. But that's why I'm with you at this point in time. I'm not using you, but I'd like you to help me if you're willing to help me. Now, if your upline has got some of that, that's where you want to go. But don't say I can't do it because they don't know it, because what's going to happen in this room right here, I don't know how many people in here, 50 people? I can guarantee you 2 of you in here will not be in this business in 6 months from now. You're gonna tell yourself, I can't. That's the statistics. Now you might come back in, but somewhere along the line you're gonna say, I quit. I quit many times before I got to where I was. I'm success because of all the failures I've had, not because of the good things I've done. But I just had one more success than I had failures. So it put me in the positive. And when I finally figured it out, that I was already rich, I quit making excuses. I quit lying to myself. Oh, I didn't get that sale because this hot girl went in there and she scooped me on that. Oh, but I don't really go back to say, well, she's been in that account 5 times and I've been in there once. Or she's selling plexus and I'm selling sticker bars. Seriously, you got to have a great product. You can't deny that. And all the facts have to be in place. Like a baseball player. Babe Ruth was the #1 all-time home run hitter. You know what else he was the #1 all-time? Strikeout king. He was. And there's a story about him back in the 20s or 30s or whenever he played. Even he's older than I am. It was the bottom of the 9th. The score was like 4-3. I think it was 4-3. He was playing for the Yankees, and I guess this was the Dodgers over here. And the Babe comes up to bat. And everybody gets quiet. He points up to the left field. Ah. The pitcher gets shaky. He fires the ball in there. The umpire says, strike 1. Kill the umpire. Boo, boo, kill the umpire. Babe knocks the feet off, swings his bat. Pitcher throws another ball. Strike 2. Oh, my gosh. If it hadn't been for the cops, they would have killed the umpire. The Babe walks out to the mound, tips his hat to the guy, comes back up, shakes everybody's hand, points out to left field again. The crowd goes crazy. He just calms them all down. They pitch. He swings. Boom. The ball goes. it's going to go foul. Nope. It hits the right field post and drops in play. Oh, my gosh. By that time, the big bambino is what they used to call it. He'd roll the base instead of run. So he runs by first. He tags second. He tags third. The guy with all his might doesn't even get the cutoff man. Fires it into home plate. The catcher catches the ball, and the babe catches the home plate, walks by, and the catcher goes over it, walks over to him, and tags it, and the umpire says, "You're out." What? He said, "You're out. You never touch first base. So do what's first in your business." That's the story. That's what you think. What's first? Have you ever been who's ever ridden in an airplane when they give you the pitch about when the mask comes down? What do they tell you to do first? Put it on yourself and help your child. Because see, if you're not able, if you're not healthy, you can't help me. You can't do anything for me if you can't do for yourself. Broke people can't help anybody. They can't help themselves. And it starts with a mentality. Now, nothing's exclusive. Remember this. I mean, God blesses us all different. Some of us have diseases that are debilitating. But I have seen people with no arms and no legs be immensely successful. There is a company now in Wilmington called Bo's Coffee, and the most gifted and cerebral person in the place has got Down syndrome. And they're the most popular coffee house in all of Wilmington. But you know what they do different than the guy down the street that's complaining about getting a minimum wage? They show up. They show up every day and work. And they take home what they get. And they're excited to be there. This plexus thing, I'm telling you, it's stronger than 9 rows of onions right now. I could leave here right now. I'll guarantee you in 24 hours I could be a silver. Just by going UGG. You see, I'm willing to do what it takes. I'm willing to reach out and say, I want something better for me and my family, or my family to be, or whoever. And I want to be able to go. I want to go to California with Kelly. I want to be able to get that motorcycle I want, that boat I want, have those kids I want, have that great big house in Foxcroft. Everybody know where Foxcroft is? Isn't that around here somewhere? Yeah, I'm tired of living in an apartment. I'm tired of, I'm really just tired of getting up in the morning and listening to the neighbor upstairs banging or whatever. It'd be nice if I could just put gas in my car and not worry about making it before the brakes come off of it or something. And I'd like to get rid of this hoopty ride. I'd like to be able to, I like to ride bicycles. I like to have my hoopty ride. I like to be able to go at least to Walmart and buy a $100 bicycle instead of having to go to Craigslist and get whatever I can get. Well, you do that by investing in yourself. Read a book. I don't care if you read comic books, you don't read. If that's what it takes you to get you to read, but eventually read a self-help book. And get out of it what you can. And sometimes it'll take you 2 months to read it, but you'll get to where it's a habit. That's how Betsy got Kelly eating these lima beans. She made her eat one. If hell froze over, she was going to eat a lima bean. And Betsy learned a long time ago, how long does it take? You have to
70 tastes before you like it.
70 tastes. She had to eat 70 of these beans before Betsy lightened up on her backstroke. And her dad never lightened up on his backstroke. So now she likes that, but she's learned that. It's a healthy thing. And anything that you want, that you know that's really good for you, that you can't do, like put down the Snicker bar, or get rid of the gallon of milk. Go buy the grocery store without buying a bag of cookies. Go buy 70 times, it'll become a habit. It's natural. I'm going to leave you with one more thing because I can talk to the cows stuff. And there is a rule that says the brain will not endure any more than the rear end will take. So here's something you want to do. I've told you before, and I've not always been this way. I used to be quite the rascal. But now, I do believe in God first, family second, business third. And I'm not ashamed of that.
Hang on, sweetie, I'm trying to make
And the other thing, I'll be political here. I think a person ought to use the bathroom, and a girl's bathroom with a girl, and a boy's bathroom with a boy, and I don't have to have a law to tell me that.
chicken. Okay. There you
And
go.
I don't know what the bears in the woods do,
Thank you.
or people that go in camping, but I don't think there's a boys and girls bathroom in the woods. But everybody seems to get taken care of without forcing somebody else to do something. So it's God first,
Okay.
family second, and business third. And this is in every one of these. And this is in that. Because your business is your family. But here's the thing. There's 4 agreements that you need to make with yourself. And it's going to take you a while to get these down. And you're going to have to work on, some of you've got it already and some of them don't have it. Once you get them, whether you stay involved with Plexus or not, I will guarantee you the rest of your life you can be happy. The first one is be impeccable in your word. That means do what you say you're going to do. Do what you tell yourself you're going to do too. Because in the beginning, this comes from a way back before the Incas. In the beginning there was God, and God was the Word, and the Word was in God, and that's where that comes from. And God tells us the truth. So just follow the truth. Follow your own truth. Stay impeccable in your word. The second thing you got to remember to do is never, ever assume anything and ask everything. Oh, nah, they don't do Plexus. Let's see, who's going to do Plexus in here? Oh, she's got gray hair. She won't do Plexus. She's good looking. She won't do Plexus. Oh, she's got 2 feet. She won't do Plexus. Never assume anything and ask everything. Are you interested in bettering yourself? There you go. See, let me show you something about. See, never assume and ask everything. The 4th agreement you need to make is never take anything personal. Never take nothing. No matter, oh man, that girl's got green teeth. I don't want to be around her. You know, what they're doing is they're spewing their poison on you. They feel bad. So if they can make you feel worse than they feel, then they're okay. That's what that's all about. That's where bullies come from. You know, they're always, don't take it personal. No, when somebody says no, or somebody says, oh, that won't work. Oh, here's a good one. I went to the bathroom wall of society called the internet, and I saw on the internet the Plexus people, you know, they're in a cult. Multi-level marketing is a ripoff. Well, my answer to that is compared to what? Compared to what you're doing? Yeah. Well, what do you do? Well, I'm a mechanic down here, and I'm making tons of money. I make $85 an hour. No. I pay the dealer $85 an hour. You're not making $85 an hour. Well, I'm going to start my own shop anyway. Oh, yeah? Have you ever done that? Yeah, 15 times. And now you're back at the dealership again, right? So compared to what? And the 4th one is do the absolute best you can with whatever you've got to do with it. Never buy the cheapest, always buy the best. Now, if the best you can do is used tires with strings on them for shoes, you buy you some shoes. But you polish the shoes you got. You put on the lipstick and the makeup, I don't care if it's clay off the street. You sew up the dress you got. But you present yourself as best you can. Because it won't be long before somebody notices you and wants what you've got. And once they want what you've got, then you go back to what I told you first. Why? Why is it you want what I've got? And when they give you the magic word, you go, oh. That's how you get you guys in your business. Now here's the lightning round. How fast do you want to get there? You know, you think about how fast do you want to do it. It's going to take a while to learn to read books. It's going to take a while to learn to improve yourself. It's going to take I'll tell you exactly where you're going to be in 6 weeks if you will show me who you're hanging out with today. You know, I'm sure your mama said if somebody could lay down with the fleas, you get up with the dogs. What are you doing with yourself? Your friends are not your friends. If you go to them and say, you know, I'd like to help you lose some weight. See, I can talk to you if I'm your friend that way because we know each other real well, and I'll call him fat, and he'll call me ugly, and you know, it's man banter because there's not a, you know, men aren't like women. They're not kind of as loving, so we make jokes like, man, if I had a mustache like that, Mike, I'd shave my head like Jim. But it's kind of a way of bantering. But if I really love Mike, and I do, I'm going to say, hey, Mike, I got something you might be interested in. And no bull honky. I want you to try this. And Mike's going to say, are you out of your mind, Jim? What are you, new? You've never done a thing for me. So I know, but I want to do it now. Okay, I want you to try this. And he might say no. No, you can't trust Jim. He's a salesman. You're going to watch him. And so I'll say, okay, next. Somebody's going to say yes. Your closest friends are going to say no. They're afraid of being sold. You're afraid of being sold. I'm afraid of being sold. What's the first thing you say when somebody comes up to you in the dress shop? Can I help you? No, I'm just
looking.
because I don't want to be bingo. So you learn to do things like, are you looking for a dress? No, I'm just looking. Okay. If there's anything I can help you with, just let me know. Leave them on. But believe me, your friends' eyes are on you like a hawk on a mouse. They're watching everything you do and say because they are hurting so bad inside. They're screaming to get out, but they're afraid to take your hand because here's another one that happens all the time. We have an art complex. We sell art. We do things. I have a person go next door and buy a piece of art. They won't buy a piece of art at the artworks because they're afraid Jim Knowles is going to make some money. You know, he already has enough money or whatever he has. They'll come and ask you to borrow your car or borrow your pots and pans and mess them up. And they'll go down the street and rent them. They don't even know that person. I mean, it seems like to me, I'd want to support my friends and family, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the first person I want to get. I want Kelly to be successful personally before you get successful. Because, you know, that's my daughter. But what's cool about Plex is I can make you as successful as her at the same time if you're willing to do the work. And if she wants to sit here and be at this level, then I can help you get way above her. See, that's what you can't do in corporate America. You can't do that. See, with multi-level marketing, if it's a company on the level, and back in the 30s and the Depression, there was a lot of scams. Paper Moon was a movie about that, about the little girl and her dad going selling Bibles. They look at the obituaries and see that a man just died or a lady, and they go up and they say, oh, you know, I'm sorry we're here, but they ordered this Bible. Yeah. Believe me, people like that every day walking the streets. They're trying to get whatever you got. They look broke, they act broke, they are broke. But the Plexus thing, like I said, if you learn those 4 principles and you start feeling good about yourself and if you'll just participate, I don't know how much money you'll make, but you really can make as much money as you want to. And when you start making a lot of money, look to some of your mentors or either go to a financial advisor, because what you want to do is start investing that money in multiple streams of income. So when you get ready to quit, or excuse me, retire, you don't have to quit. You don't have to work all your life and sell your house and downsize and get rid of what you got. You don't have to end up in a rest home broke with no money. And see, now at my age, those things, I understand there's a lot better than I did when I was 30. I was 30, and if I had 5 cents, I was rich because I'll just raise hell all the time anyway. And if I'd have figured out then what I know now, I'd be in more trouble. But I'm telling you today, that's it, and that's what I've got to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I hope that you guys were able to get some notes. It's the first time for me that I've been able to sit in one of these trainings and really take notes, which is great. I learned a lot. The cool thing for me is, I don't know if you ever read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. But he talks about his dad was in the school system, and then he had his friend's dad, and that was his rich dad. Not rich in money, but rich in knowledge and experience and wisdom. So he started hanging around with his friend and his friend's dad, and that's really who he was able to gain his business knowledge from. And I am fortunate enough that my dad and my rich dad are the same person. And so, he talks about, invest in your upline, find a mentor. Like, I've got it. And I call him all the time, and I'm always asking him questions and tell me how to do this. What should I do? When I called him that day, when I went Emerald, I was so excited to be able to tell my dad, because I knew he'd be really proud of me, because I've been able to achieve this. I'll be 39 years old this year. I'm super young. I feel like, I've not even lived half my life yet. And I think about what I'll be able to do for my kids and the education that they'll be able to have and the trips we'll be able to go on and all of those things that money give you. However, I also think that a year ago, so in March, when I signed up my very first ambassador, actually Michelle and Lisa were my first two ambassadors, are sitting right here. And now we've got about 800 people on our team. So if you think, let's just use 10 as a number. You can do the math. Let's say all 800 of those people have talked to Plexus about 10 people. How many lives now have been changed just because I decided one day to take Plexus? We're talking about almost 10,000 people. But that's pretty crazy to think about how many lives have been touched from one decision, and how many lives are going to be touched because you've talked to people about Plexus, and they've talked to people about Plexus, and they've talked to people about Plexus. It's just crazy to think about how many lives have been changed for the better because of this little tiny pink drink. Yeah, like as my dad said, just about ugh, And so when you think about it that way, there's no reason to be afraid to talk to people about Plexus. There's no reason to say I can't, or I quit, or it's just too hard. Les Brown talks about choose your hard. What's harder? Well, for me, it's harder to have to leave my kids and miss their birthdays and miss their dance recitals. That's way harder than coming to a meeting like this and reading a book and talking to somebody about Plexus. What's worse? What's harder for you? And so I'm glad that you're here today, that you've chosen to invest in yourself. I know some people just got their food, so stay here at fellowship. The training portion is over, but I'll be here. My dad's here, Betsy's here. All of you are here. So let's use this opportunity while we're here to learn from each other and to continue to help us grow in our Plexus business. Because, I do believe that the best is yet to come. When I think about, people say, oh, that was the good old days. To me, this is the good old day. Like, the first part of this day was great. Every morning I wake up, like, okay, yesterday was the good old day. Every day. And I know that our lives are just going to get better and better and better and better and better, because we're going to continue to help other people, and we're going to continue to work towards our dreams. And it's exciting. So thanks, guys, for being here today, and I appreciate you. And thanks to you guys, too.
Thank you.